Hey everyone, I'm Abha, I'm from Lawlex, and first of all, I want to thank everyone who sent in their comments and their replies to our first video, which was about sex education. A lot of people really enjoyed it, so thank you so much for everything you said. Continuing that, tradition, Lawlex and I are doing a second video on a very important subject. We're doing it on animal rights. And the thing is that a lot of us are pet owners. We have cats and dogs and whatnot, and there are so many basic animal rights that we are not aware of. And so that's Darwin. Stay there now. Sit. Right. This here is my assistant, and he's going to be, distracting us. So the first thing that you need to know, here you go. The first thing that you need to know is that the Indian Penal Code and the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act of 1960 have special provisions that deal with animal rights. And so let's talk about those basic animal rights that every pet owner needs to know. Firstly, I think the most essential step that they took towards protecting animals was to criminalize assaulting animals. Do you remember that incident where that stray dog, was thrown from the top of the building in Chennai by a couple of medical interns? This was my reaction to that.
This is a very humble request to people to stop abusing animals, throwing them off balconies, burning them alive. Please stop that.
So anybody who harms or maims, you don't get to do that. What are you doing? Come here. So anybody who harms or maims or injures an animal is punishable with imprisonment for a period of up to 2 years, or can be charged with fine, or they can be punished with imprisonment and with fine. Oops, sorry. So that's section 428, section 429 of the IPC. Come here. Where are you going? Sit. No. Sit. You have to sit. You have to be in this video. Down. Right. And stay now. Where was I? Right. So have you ever wondered how psychopaths came to be in the world? How did psychopaths and serial killers happen? Basically, these were people who, when they started out young, would torture and kill animals. So that's how they started off before they moved on to people. So when you're hurting animals, it's not a joke. You're showing psychopathic tendencies and you're a criminal under the law. Another important law is some people think that they want a pet. So they go to the shop and they see a puppy or a kitten and they completely lose their shit. Mama is so cute, he's so cute. I want one. But slowly, as the immature, incompetent and inadequate minds realize the amount of work involved in taking care of a pet, they suddenly decide, oh, I don't want a pet anymore. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, darlings. Bye-bye. Ouch! Under the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act of 1960, if you, for any reason at all, abandon a dog or a cat or a pet, you can be punished with imprisonment for a period of up to 3 months. Oh, look who's abandoned now. Neglecting your pet, such as not providing them with adequate food, water or shelter, keeping them tied up for many hours, or not giving them appropriate exercise can cause you to be punished with imprisonment up to 3 months. Good boy. You might wonder, what if I am a black magician or a practitioner of the dark arts or a tantric or an occultist, and I would like to sacrifice some animals and drink their blood? Well, first of all, are you out of your freaking mind? Second of all, no, animal sacrifices are not permitted in India, except for sheep and goats that are sacrificed during the Bakrid festival. See, the thing is, under the law, the sacrifice of animals for religious reasons has been permitted, according to section 28 of the PCA Act. When the Supreme Court was asked to ban the sacrifice of animals for religious festivals, it said no. The court's reasoning was that it would not go against centuries of faith and tradition in our country that would upset the delicate balance of harmony in our community. Hey, you know which centuries-old tradition we should totally get back? Stoning idiots. Who's up for it? The other thing that you really need to know is that if you're living in an apartment or a residential society or an apartment complex or any, building society, and you see these notices and these bylaws and rules and regulations that prohibit keeping of pets, or they say dogs are not allowed here, or you can't live here if you have a pet, then you have to know that this is against the law. This is against the law of the land. And if people are coming over to your place and making frivolous complaints against your pets, or accusing you of breaking the rules of the society, or doing any such thing that amounts to harassment, you have to know that this is criminal intimidation. There you go. Why is this criminal intimidation? Because the law doesn't permit this. The Animal Welfare Board of India has been empowered by the Supreme Court to make sure that no residential society can make any bylaws or rules or regulations that prohibit keeping of pets. So such rules are against the law of the land, and that's why you have to know that this is just not allowed. You can keep pets and you are allowed to live in any society at all with your pets. And so that's something that you really need to remember. So if a lady in the building tells you, I'm sorry, we really don't allow pets here, you're supposed to say, buddy, do you know how to hold up the middle finger? Here, I'll show you. This is the middle finger. Here's the thing, a lot of people feel very compassionate towards stray animals and they want to take care of them. So they feed them, provide them with water or medical attention. But you have to remember a couple of things. Firstly, don't dislocate them from the place where you found them, because that interferes with the area-wise birth control. Secondly, get them neutered. And thirdly, get them vaccinated against rabies. This solves the overall overpopulation problem of stray animals, and it also helps in controlling disease. The government doesn't allow anybody to do mass culling of animals to get rid of the excess stray animals. So the best thing you can do is get them neutered and leave them where you found them.
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
See, animal rights is a very sensitive issue. You're either going to be crazy about animals or you're going to learn to tolerate them. At the very least, don't be cruel to them. If you're not an animal lover, try and not make it hard for other animal lovers to be. Try and not harass other people for having pets. And coexistence between the two groups, animal lovers and non-animal lovers, can be tricky, and I do sympathize with both groups. As a pet owner, there are certain responsibilities you have to take. You have to train them well, you have to take care of them, you have to always keep them on a leash, or at the very least keep an eye on them. Make sure that they're not causing any grief to your neighbors and to other bystanders. The other thing is that just because you're an animal lover doesn't mean that every time you're crossing the street and you see an animal or a pet, you have to go and touch them, because not every pet is cuddly. They don't like being touched by strangers. And always remember that the pet might be friendly, sometimes the owner isn't. So yeah, don't encroach other people's space just because you consider yourself an animal lover. And even if you are an animal lover and you like, say, volunteering at animal shelters, you have to do a lot of research, because you have to find an animal shelter that is actually proactive when it comes to animals. And they shouldn't have a high kill rate, because if they're euthanizing nearly every animal you're taking there, then it's probably not a good idea taking a stray animal there. And you also have to make sure that they have a vet at hand and they are ready to provide medical relief to animals. So picking the right animal shelter is a major point for animal lovers. And when you're meeting other animal lovers or pet owners, don't unnecessarily comment or criticize the pet owner or the pets. See, everybody who is an animal lover often considers himself or herself like an animal behaviorist or a dog trainer. But that is not the case. Just because you're an animal lover doesn't mean you know more than the next person who's an animal lover. So don't be condescending or offensive when you're giving advice to other animal lovers. And I think that's the best way that there can be some kind of coexistence and goodwill and harmony between different sorts of animal lovers. when in doubt about anything relating to animal welfare, it's always good to approach the local vet because they have a lot of experience and they have a lot of knowledge. And, always keep an eye out for certain practices like unlicensed dog breeders selling pups, or dog napping, there have been a lot of reported cases of dog napping in Pune and Mumbai and Delhi where pets are being abducted, and this is being done again for breeding purposes. So please be very careful when you're buying puppies or kittens that it's from a licensed kennel or a licensed breeder. And lastly, I think the whole purpose of this segment that we've done today is to preach compassion for all animals. And so even if you're an animal lover, just practice compassion towards all animals, because eventually even the non-animal lovers will learn to do that. And at the end of the day, that's what we need more in the world. We just need more compassion towards animals. Uh-oh. What happened? What happened? What happened? That's a fly. That's a fly. Don't do anything to the camera. Oh my God. You have to chill. You have to chill. So that's it for this time. If you're an animal lover, these are some basic laws that you really need to know about. Whether you're a dog lover or a cat lover or a bird lover or a cow lover. Shit, I said cow. You can check out the Lawlex website, or you can subscribe to the Lawlex YouTube channel and let me know what you think of this video on animal rights. Until then, take care and always be nice to your dogs.